thing to remember. It's a star-studded look back at Arsenio's first 1,000 shows. Only on the next Arsenio.
Tonight at 11:30 on Channel 9.
It was a picture that demonstrated Hamilton County government at its worst. The I-team caught some building inspectors golfing on the job. That was 2 years ago. Where are they now? And better yet, have practices changed? Tonight, the I-team goes back for answers.
This is the Channel 9 News at 11.
Good evening. We begin tonight with Hamilton County building inspectors. If the name sounds familiar, it's because 2 years ago, we showed you major problems in their department in an I-team exclusive report called, Is This Working?
That report rocked the county courthouse. It uncovered abuses in sick time and expense reports and led to the firings or resignations of at least 7 county employees. Tonight, the Channel 9 I-team revisits the building inspector's department. Is this working? It's working better, but there still may be a problem.
If this is the image you have of a Hamilton County building inspector, it's time to put down your clubs and listen, because things have changed. It's the building inspector's job to make sure every new house meets code, that it's safe. 2 years ago, the I-team reported on inspectors playing golf on county time, inspectors who padded mileage, falsified inspection reports, abused sick time, and of supervisors and a department head who did nothing about it. Those days are gone. Bernie Schrader is one of the county's new inspectors with a new way of doing business. There's now an inspection ticket for each inspection.
Go ahead and take care of the corrections, and we'll check the corrections off at the installation inspection.
He takes a copy of the inspection back to the office where it's keyed into the department's new computer system. Supervisors know instantly who did the inspection and the result. The woman who has spent the last 2 years reorganizing the department and the county's new building commissioner is Tanya Edwards.
This department is going to be run the way it's supposed to be run. The county will not tolerate people not doing their jobs.
And it won't tolerate padded mileage reports. 2 years ago, we told you about the amazing Ford Fiesta of Mike Campbell, the inspector who had 1,500 more miles on his mileage report than he had on his car. Inspectors no longer drive personal cars. Each inspector picks up a county vehicle each morning, returns it each night.
I think we're better managed. I think we have a much more committed staff.
2 years ago, even a supervisor like Don Dolly could call in sick to go play golf.
That day, were you actually sick?
Yeah, I was sick of working.
Tanya Edwards says she makes sure her department understands the regulations. Former building commissioner Ralph Liebing also had a lot of rules on paper. Edwards told I-team producer Carl Eidsvog the difference between the old rules and the new ones is that the present procedures are enforced.
So you really adhere to your policies and regulations quite closely.
That's right.
You take them very seriously.
That's right.
If that's true, it makes you wonder whether Tanya Edwards reads her own regulations, particularly the one that requires employees to live in Hamilton County.
The policy states, in part, employees must reside in Hamilton County and maintain Hamilton County residency throughout their employment. So why does the plans examiner for the building department live at this house in Butler County? Why does one of the inspectors live north of Franklin in Warren County? To find out, we decided to ask Tanya Edwards. The department's internal address sheet shows she lives at this house in Mount Lookout. But when reporter Jay Schatz knocked on the door, Tanya Edwards didn't come out. The woman who really lives here did.
But if we want to find Tanya, she lives up in Hillsboro.
She lives up in Hillsboro, yeah.
Tanya Edwards lives on this farm outside of Hillsboro in Highland County.
How did you get a Hamilton County address?
I have a very close friend whose sister has a spare room, and she agreed that I could use her address, and I stay there when I have to work late, and she's a very gracious lady.
Edwards is well aware of the county's residency policy.
So why don't you enforce that policy in your department?
I do enforce that policy in my department. My people have to establish residency within 6 months.
And what does that mean?
That means that they have to have a Hamilton County address.
Does that mean you can have a Hamilton County address and live somewhere else?
Yes, it does, because I'm doing it myself.
Well, that's not the way I would interpret the policy.
County Administrator Dave Crane says when Tanya Edwards was hired, she agreed to establish residency in Hamilton County. But he's not sure what that means.
I guess as far as this individual situation, for me it comes back to is what is the deal that was made when you were hired? What was the agreement? Did you agree to come in or didn't you agree to come in?
When I was interviewed, that was the understanding, that I was not going to move permanently into Hamilton County.
Tanya Edwards says she has never hidden the fact that she lives in Highland County. But it would be easy for someone to get confused. Her car is registered in Hamilton County, and so is she.
Where do you vote?
Well, I'm registered to vote in Hamilton County.
And is that legal?
As I understand that, that's legal. We've checked it out.
The Board of Elections says that's not legal, saying residency is defined as the place you live with your family. And for Tanya Edwards, that's Highland County, not Hamilton. Commissioner Guy Guggenberger has high praise for Tanya Edwards' performance, saying she has turned the building department around. But he's troubled by a department head who puts down a Hamilton County address when she lives somewhere else.
It bothers me. The appearance of it, if nothing else, is bad.
There's a question whether residency requirements are even legal, but Guggenberger says that's not the point.
You either have to have the policy or you get rid of the policy. And if you have the policy, it's to be enforced. I don't consider just citing an address as compliance with the policy.
So it sounds like the county commission is going to have to decide whether it wants to have a residency policy or not.
And has to weigh in the balance whether that's even constitutionally okay. But yeah, you can bet they will have to make a decision.
Now what we were wondering, though, is whatever happened to all those inspectors from 2 years ago, the ones that either resigned or got fired?
Yeah, that is the big question. And as they say, life goes on. The former inspectors have done a good job of getting on with life.
Peter Marino, the inspector we showed you playing golf and building a house in Claremont County during Hamilton County working hours, he resigned and is now building homes full-time. Marino says one of his best carpenters is another inspector who resigned, Dave Baumkamp. Their former boss, Don Dolly, the man in the red sweater in the golf cart, he now works for Warner Cable as its lead maintenance technician. Mike Campbell, who was fired for falsifying
Where is that? Hope and Graham never tasted like that. Come on, together like that. Hey, Graham's Berry Witches. We like that. Nabisco.
Static can make you lose your appetite.
It'll stop you.
Static can make you stick out in a crowd.
It'll stop you.
And static can be an embarrassing handicap.
It'll stop you.
The more you move, the more static can build up. But you can stop static cling by using Bounce. Bounce leaves clothes virtually static-free.
It won't stop you.
Bounce stops static before static stops you.
Get close. Closer. This is the look of healthy skin. And this is where you get it. Right here in Noxzema Skin Cream. You know, in the blue jar. Noxzema cleans deep down. Down. Keep going. Down to the pores. To dig out dirt. To lift out oil. But, and this is key, Noxzema won't overstrip your skin like soap. So you get clean, healthy-looking skin. Yeah, healthy skin is in Noxzema.
Hey, when you're in the mood for something a little bit tangy, a little bit spicy, yeah, try Heinz 57 sauce. It's like ketchup with a kick.
Can you believe it when some margarines say buttery taste and there's no butter in them? Kraft Touch of Butter spread has rich, creamy butter in it. Just a touch. Kraft Touch of Butter. A touch of real butter makes a real difference.